Aloha mai kako. My name is Kealoha Domingo. I'm a native Hawaiian chef. As I was thinking about this whole experience, the thing that was really important to me after I thought about it is that I did this just because that's what we did. I never really thought about what it meant. And there's also a time in my life still happening where I'm searching for myself in a cultural sense. I grew up feeling disconnected from my culture, but one day it clicked in that, what I'm doing, it's a part of my culture. I take pride in that. So right now we're standing in a place called Papahana Kuola is the name of the organization, and it's located in the ili of Waipahu in the Ahupua'a of He'eia in the district of Ko'olaupoko, and it's on the island of Oahu, right here in Hawaii. And it's a very special place. Papahana Kuola is a nonprofit organization that mission is to teach about land stewardship, about Hawaiian culture, about everything in between, the relationship between man and what sustains us and traditional culture. So it's been quite a journey for the Hawaiian people to regain our identity, and I'm so happy that we're at a point where we're at, and it's starting to shift. I just feel so happy that I can give that resource to my children, and they can continue to build on it and really work on, that whole healing process of generational trauma. My oldest son's name is Kahikino Kala. He's 21 right now. Just like his younger brothers, he grew up around it, and I told him that whatever he does when he graduates from high school, part of his rites of passage is to be able to do his own imu. I'm a father. I'm always going to watch over him. I'm always going to correct him here and there, but he pretty much gets the concept, and I'm happy for that. I know that it's going to continue one way or another. So what we did today was basically all of the preparations for a traditional luau or a aha'aina. All of the food preparation, it's really a labor of love. What's powerful about the family luau is that everyone comes together and it takes a big daunting task and makes it a family affair and a community event. Behind me, pseudo-traditional Hawaiian imu, something that I was fortunate to grow up doing. It's basically an underground oven with a bunch of firewood and volcanic rocks that were heated up. Place a layer of banana stumps on it, and in went a whole pig, and that's covered with banana leaves and tea leaves, and then we encase it with burlap and like a canvas cloth, and then it gets covered with this. It's not traditional, but what we use now is a plastic sheeting, and it kind of creates like a combination of a pressure cooker, of a steamer, and of a smoker, and of a convection oven. Kind of like a combination of the three, and you end up with a product that's like really unique. It has a nice smoky flavor, and if everything works out right, it'll fall off the bone. What's really great for me is that it's something that I never realized until later in life, that it's a traditional art. Whether we made some adaptations, using a torch to light it or whatever the case may be, it's definitely a traditional art that I'm really happy to be a part of. As Hawaiian people, we need to find those connections to our past, and this is one of them. I learned about preparing Hawaiian food and the imu from not just my father, but uncles, and there are a lot of pivotal people who we learned from over the years. But it was, like I said, it was always a family affair. Every time you go to someone else's imu, everyone has a little different technique, a little different nuances or whatever. But the way that we learn is just what I recall from my childhood memories. And my father's generation, there wasn't a whole lot of Hawaiian culture integrated into the society. There was a time where the culture was pushed on the side, and we nearly lost our language. We nearly lost many things. I'm so happy that this was like a thread that connected us, and whether they knew it or not, it was a continuance of our past teachings. So
I'm Robert Domingo. I'm 73 years old, and I'm coming live from Honolulu, Hawaii. When I was in high school in the 60s, there was a different trend in Hawaii. They were preparing us for the American world, like for the United States. How we're going to be working in the restaurants, how to set a table with 3 different forks, 2 knives, and everything, because we're going to have a salad, and then and then we would have the main dish and then dessert. But you know, I growing up, we had one spoon or one fork, and then that's all you ate with. But so there wasn't a strong culture at that time. The older people were saying, you know, we're losing the Hawaiian, even though we're losing our Hawaiian culture. Like me, I was in the military, I was in the Air Force, I was learning how to be American. I came home, can I say that's a renaissance or a different, you know, change of attitudes, and I'm all for it, and I back up everything, and you know, we try to help me and the wife and the rest of the family to revitalize all this efforts and everything, the culture and stuff like that.
So the imu process, like I was saying, it varies. It varies when you go place to place and different people, and it really depends on what the outcome is and what the reason for it is. With this particular case, we're going to leave it in all night, and you know, the fire's a little lower, but it's going to give it a low and slow kind of cook. You know, it'll be in for a total of 14 hours, but you know, we can actually do a pig or several pigs in, you know, 4 to 6 hours. It really depends on what you're cooking. You know, we can adjust the size of the imu, we can adjust the amount of fire, adjust the amount of the banana stump that we put on there. It's kind of like it's not so much of a formula, it's more of it's an art.
Everybody around me likes to cook. My mother-in-law, my wife, and I love it, being around everybody and being in the kitchen. Well, I grew up as all my uncles, my family. Everybody almost had a imu in their front yard. Imu is that, you know, that outdoor pit, and so we kind of grew up cooking. You know, everybody helped to do the luau.
We're going to have several different dishes tomorrow. One of the ones to take note of is luau he'e, commonly known as squid luau in Hawaii today. It's basically the tops of our taro plant that are cooked down in coconut milk and added in sliced pieces of octopus. That top of the taro plant, it's called luau. So a lot of it is derived off of that fact that we're utilizing these different parts of the taro plant. I mean, the taro plant itself is vitally important to the Hawaiian culture, and you know, everything from the corm to the leaf is really what sustained us. And a second dish that we're going to have, and it's a laulau. And laulau is basically, this time we're using pork, and it's wrapped in tea leaves. Tea leaves are like this, you know, we have it growing everywhere, but it's a really multi-purpose leaf. But in this case, it's used as a cooking vessel, and it's, you know, it's like a traditional wax paper, so to speak. Of course, we're gonna have some fresh poi. You know, poi is a staple food of our people, and it's just basically the corm of the taro plant that was cooked. It can be cooked in many ways. It could be cooked in an imu like this, or it could be steamed or boiled or baked. But we peel it, mash it with the poi pounder. Pohaku ku'iai is what it's called. We add water to it, and it makes it into poi, and it's really our staple food. We eat it with everything, with something salty, sweet. It's really the heart of our traditional food. We're lucky to get some fresh ahi, and that's going to be cut into cubes and season it with sea salt and a relish called inamona, which is made from kukui nuts. They're all over the place over here, but candle nut, it's really, you roast it off and it's like a really deep and rich nutty flavor. And we're going to add in some seaweed, some limu manawea, and we're going to create a traditional poke. We're also going to have papa'i, which is a crab. This is a deep sea crab that we prepare raw. We remove the shells and trim the legs so that we can marinate it in sea salt and also use the same inamona, or that kukui nut relish. Another dish we're having called opihi. Opihi is somewhat of a delicacy. It's a limpet. It grows on the seashore. That we just basically peel it out of the shell, massage it in some sea salt, and eat it as it is. For dessert, we're going to be having a dish called haupia, and it's a little bit of a more modern version that I do. It's haupia and ko'ele palau, which is two separate dishes, but I'm going to combine it into one. Haupia is like a coconut pudding. It's the milk of a coconut, grated, squeeze that coconut to get that nice rich coconut milk, and it's thickened up. Ko'ele palau is a sweet potato pudding, very, very much like a mashed potato with a little bit of, again, coconut milk. I'm going to be serving it with the haupia. The best part about the luau experience is not so much the party at the end, but it's the journey there. It's just a really like a community effort, a culmination of good energy that goes into this thing. And the luau in the more traditional times, it was really a sacred thing. It was really a more of a ceremonial thing that it was for occasions that were notable, like the first year of life. Getting over that first year of life was a challenge in traditional times. When you hit that 1 year mark, it culminates with a big party. Everyone who comes to the child's first birthday party, contributes to it, attends it. That's a symbol that we're going to be a part of that child's life, and we consecrate that with that relationship with the sharing of food, which is something that sometimes goes overlooked today. But that's a connection that we keep with our ancestors and with those who are going to follow our footsteps. My children and their children and their children's children. So as much labor goes into it, as much sweat goes into it, as much planning and all of the backaches that I'm going to have on Monday morning, it's just like everyone gets together and makes it happen. I feel like it's important to provide a little reprieve, some kind of reward, some kind of something, especially for the kids. Put in all that effort. I don't want them to think that this is just all hard work, because it's really a labor of love. I want them to know that take a break, go get refreshed in the pond. We're so lucky to have that resource here. We're getting dirty and we got dirt on our fingernails and sweat. It's not a bad thing to go jump in and cleanse and then come back to the work again. It kind of perks everyone up for that next home stretch. So rather than focusing on the trauma, we take what we do have, this gift, and nurture it and build it. And next thing you know, I'm a grandfather, I'm a great grandfather, whatever the case may be. I'm a memory, but my children and their children's children will still be carrying this on. For me, I wasn't fortunate to grow up with the Hawaiian language. All of my children are fluent in the Hawaiian language, and that in itself just adds such an additional advantage over learning what our culture is all about. I'm going to leave it to them to take it to the next level.
My son, Kelo, he's really, him, the mom, and everything, they really, engage with the kids about, they understand and everything, and they're on a good track. Right? They're learning so much, and I'm so proud of them.
Ti